Very good morning to you. We were just getting ready for Twitter, actually. Anyway, Lo, our next story is about skin banks and tissue banks, in fact. Burn victims in South Africa have received a blessing from the Tshwane University of Technology's Centre for Tissue Engineering. This comes in the form of a skin bank, the skin banking program that was launched last week. It's the first of its kind to hit South Africa and, in fact, the continent, I dare say, and it aims to provide relief to those in need of skin regeneration. Cleo Ndhlovu is the General Manager of the CTE and joins us now in studio. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So, what is a tissue bank?
Well, a tissue bank is a facility where doctors normally will contact to get tissue from. So the Centre for Tissue Engineering in particular, we do, it's a multi-tissue bank, so we do several. So we do bone, skin, corneas, heart valves, ligaments as well. So that's basically, we make tissues available for hospitals to use for transplantation.
All right, let's chat a little bit about skin, because that's something that we don't talk about, and in fact, I'm not sure that we know much about. So where do you get the skin that you keep in your banks, and what do you do with it? Take us through the process.
Well, it's a decision that individuals like you and I have to make while we're still alive. You have to make the decision and speak to your family about. You need to decide you want to be an organ and tissue donor. And I include organ because a lot of people who have registered as organ donors are automatically tissue donors. And we have a relationship with the Organ Donor Foundation that once you've registered on the ODF site, you don't have to register again on the tissue donation site. So once you register on our site, automatically you are available on theirs and vice versa. So you make the decision, you let your family know, and once death happens, then your family can either contact us or the hospital will contact us, or sometimes it's the mortuaries and funeral homes that contact us to say, Mr. So-and-so has now passed, and we contact the family to have a discussion with them to say, if you are on the list or on our registration or on our donor list, we will say he is on the list and he was a donor and this is what he would have liked. We hope that you do know about it. And unfortunately, the law in South Africa still demands that we get a legal written consent form from your next of kin, whether you were on the registry or not.
Okay.
So your family still has to sign those legal consent forms to say, okay, we are okay with you going and procuring, whether it be bone, skin, or all of it, depending on the type of death and your age, of course, and all of that. And that's basically what will happen. Our retrieval officers will go to wherever the body is. They will do the procurement, the tissue, and they'll also take some blood samples. The tissue and the bloods will go back to the tissue bank. When it reaches the tissue bank will then run their serology tests, where we're testing HIV, hepatitis B, C, all of that. And then we'll also run some microbiology screening to make sure, to get rid of some virus and bacterial infection.
So you treat the skin when it arrives at your bank, and then how do you store it? What do you do? Just put it in the fridge? No,
it's a series of processing protocols that we expose the skin to. Look, burn surgeons, they're more familiar with the cryopreservation method of really freezing the tissue at very, very low temperatures. We considered the method as the tissue bank, and we decided that it would be very, very expensive. The startup costs are enormous, and also the running costs are also very expensive. I mean, for skin, you don't want people who don't have medical aid to not have access to it. So you want it to be available to everybody. And mostly in public hospitals. So we decided that method will not be viable. So we went with the glycerol processing method. This is now a method where you process the skin with glycerol and other chemicals and you preserve it as such. So this is a very cost-efficient method. However, it's very effective.
Okay, so you concentrating on burn victims, and I guess if you have to make an appeal to the public, what would it be right now?
please consider donation. Consider donating your organs, consider donating your skin and your corneas or your tissues, because you have no idea what a big need is out there. You have the world average for burns only is about, I think, is 5 in 100,000 fatalities. And for South Africa, it's 8.5 in 100,000.
Wow.
So it's really big. And people do actually die from burns, because you can imagine once your body loses that cover, that protective cover that's now protecting your body from infections, from heat loss, from losing proteins and electrolytes. Suddenly that cover is removed and your body is now susceptible to all kinds of infection. It's traumatic. It's very painful. So it is, you would rather make sure that everybody has access to better treatment.
All right. So the first port of call is write it down.
Discuss it.
And discuss it, and let your relatives and friends know that this is what you would have wanted,
Yes.
and register.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I think that the big message is there. Register, register. You can save lives.
You can.
All right. Cleo Ndhlovu, thank you very much indeed, and
Thank
good luck
you.
with your CTE.
Thank you. Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
All right. Okay. Let's catch up once again.